Hi guys, this is Web618. It's the 19th of July 2018 and we're just approaching 10:30 in the morning BST. Alright, so today we're going to do an update on Bitcoin, and what we're going to be looking at in this video, as you will have noticed if you've watched my previous videos, we've been looking at the low being around here at the 4300 level. Based on the 78.6 fib retracement of the move up to $20,000. So I think it's a lot more interesting right now what price is about to do at this point. So this is what the focus of this video is going to be on. Now I had spoken about this WXYXZ playing out. So this would be WXYX and Z would finish around here. So yeah. In the short term, I was talking about 7,400 being hit. That did get hit, and the question is now, will it hold? Obviously, it's gone past that. It's gone up to 7,600, which I'm always happy to see a couple of $100 move, past any particular target, because Bitcoin is very volatile, and you can never call it to the cent. And if you're calling price predictions on hourly and 4-hourly charts, you have to allow for some leeway. You're never going to call it to the cents. You have to allow a couple of $100 past your target or short of your target. So at the moment, it's still respecting that level, in my opinion. And I'm just going to talk about where I feel price could potentially go up to, where I'd be happy for it to go up to before I start getting a little bit concerned about the possibility of whether it is going to come down or whether it's going to show some more strength. So basically, whenever you're assessing the charts, you need to decide whether you're following the trend or you're looking for reversal patterns. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I still feel that we're trending, and this trend has been from $20,000 downwards. The reason I feel that the trend hasn't finished is based on fib time. If you watch my previous videos, you'll know that I estimated around 25th of August to be the earliest time, really based on fib time, that it could start to move up. On top of that, we've not seen any major volume really coming in to suggest that we're really finding a bottom right here. So I feel like we certainly have a bit more time before we can say that the trend is over. On top of that, I feel that there is more pain due in the market. A lot of weaker hands need to give up their positions and hand that over to the smart money. I feel like we still haven't gone through that phase. That said, it's not impossible to have a move up, so we always have to have that thought in the back of our mind. But we're at what I consider to be a pivotal moment right now. And the reason being is, when I'm looking to follow a trend, rather than using just Elliott wave, which is useful for finding a reversal, I like to follow trend lines, and in particular pitchforks are very useful. Now, we're on the log chart, by the way, right now, looking on the 4-hourly time frame, and I find that this pitchfork, which I've used, is a modified shift pitchfork, which you can tell by the beginning of it here. I find that this one seems to show the best respect to the median line here. So any pitchfork that really shows good respect to the main median line is one that I tend to follow. And you can see the upper median line has also been respected here, and now we're at the upper warning line. What the upper warning line represents is when that breaks, it means there's been a break in the trend. So as you can see, we're hovering around this point where it could potentially get broken, but I'm anticipating some bearish strength to come in at this point. And I'm going to explain where I wouldn't want to see price go past. Otherwise, I would be losing my bearish sentiment to some degree. First of all, why did I say 7,400? So one reason was it was a fib retracement of the high-low here, so around here, and you can see it's gone past, but then this was just the wicks, and then it started to prices hovering around this level now, around this 7,300 level. So it's still respecting this 38.2 fib. Now, the question is, could it go up to the 50% fib? And that's something I'm going to discuss a bit further. So that's at around the 7860, 7870 level. Now there's a few other things that point towards that 7870 level. So I mentioned in my last video that I did not think this was an inverse head and shoulders, purely because I'd expect more volume to be on the head here. That's the typical finding in an inverse head and shoulders. That said, I'm sure there's a lot of traders looking at this as an inverse head and shoulders, and they will be trading it. So whether it is a actual head and shoulders or not, there's going to be a lot of people trading it. So, and we can see, if we just plot a head and shoulders annotation here, this is our left shoulder, head, right shoulder, and that can go up to wherever. Now, you can see this is the neckline here, and as soon as it broke that neckline, it was explosive, which just makes you think, you know, it means a lot of people were looking at this as an inverse head and shoulders and they were trading it. It really traded up very explosively on the breakout of this neckline. And head and shoulders, typically, where do they go to? So if we just, what you do is you find the bottom. Let's make sure that is the bottom, yeah. So we plot a line, a vertical line up from the bottom to the neckline, and then we project that from the breakout, which is around there, and if we look at where price comes up to, it's again around close to that 7800 level. So again, quite close to where that 50% fib is. So that's one way of looking at it. And then if we just look at it, if we break it down on, let's go on the hourly time frame and just look at some fib extensions. So first of all, the way I see it is it's two corrective patterns here. So I think this is a WXY, and then we've got an X, and then we're going to have what looks like a possible further WXY up. But basically what sorry, we're going to have to zoom in even further, even on the 15-minute chart here. I just want to look at what price has done from this right shoulder, if we're going to call it a shoulder. So if we do a fib extension of this, yeah, so we've got a WXY up to here. This is the 1-to-1 ratio, and then we've got an X wave here. We just take that off to plot the next part. This is our X wave, and our next corrective pattern will go up to here. So we've got a WXY connected by an X wave and then another corrective pattern. So I'm looking at this could be an ABC, so it could be an A, B, and C. It's gone past the 1.618, and the next target would be this 2.618, which again is that 7800 level, around there. So I would be happy for it to go up to 7800. I wouldn't be too concerned, because I would see resistance at that point. And on top of that, if we look on the daily time frame now, just take that off. Sorry, we're on the 4-hourly time frame. You can see, in fact, let's go on the daily. No, 4-hourly is better. Right, we can see at this level there is horizontal support. If we look at the dotted line across the screen, we can see that there is definite horizontal support and resistance for this line. You can see here acted as great resistance, support, support, resistance, and now looks like resistance again. On top of that, the 7800 around this level, again, it could be around where that resistance was, resistance here. So both lines really could be tested. But we're seeing a little bit of a bounce on the short-term time frames here. If we go on the 15-minute, we've seen a bit of a bounce from this level, and the question is, are we going to see a 1.618 extension down, or is this just a corrective pattern before we make another leg up to 7800? So both are possible. When we look at these short time frames, it's very difficult to tell. However, because, as I mentioned, this pitchfork here is really being tested, I would want to see price come down soon. On top of that, just using moving averages, because moving averages are a great way of assessing the trend, because trend traders will follow the moving averages. So if we just plot some moving averages, so these are simple moving averages here, where the black line is our 200, the red lines are 100, the blue is the 50, and the green is the 20. And it's the daily that we're interested in. I did mention I wanted to see the daily 100-day moving average get tested. It's been tested almost to the point. Okay, and why did I say that? Because the X wave here had tested the 200. So what you usually see following that is the next highest moving average get tested on the next major pivot up. Likewise, back in 2014, we saw the same thing. So WXYX, Z is down here, but basically our second X tested the black line at 200, and then it came down here. I said we're here at this stage. This is where we are if we compare it to 2014, and basically I was looking for it to test this 100-day moving average just as it did here. Now you can see it actually wicked above it, but then closed below the 100-day moving average. So it really respects that 100-day moving average. Likewise, we could potentially see the same thing. If we go up to 7800 around here, that would wick above the 100-day moving average, but then I would expect it to close beneath. Either way, I'm looking for shorts around this level. I want to see a bit more volume come in. I want to see an impulsive leg down, and I'll be looking for reversal patterns such as head and shoulders, double top, triple top, any of those. If I see any of those, I'll be jumping on those to get in on a trade. Because, as I say, I'm looking for price to go down to around 4,300. So it's about a 3,000 point move. So we can argue this does look like an impulsive, well, it's difficult to say. It could be an ABC here. So we're going to have to see how it plays out. It's difficult to interpret. It could be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with this being a wave 2. So we're going to have to wait and see how it plays out. As I say, I'm happy for it to go up to 7,800. If it goes past that, I'd be a little bit concerned, because it means that the trend followers will be losing their footing, really. They'll be losing their strength in the market. So that's what I'm looking at. We're at 7,400. We went up to 76. That could well have been the top. It tested the 100-day moving average very nicely, and it could start to come down from here. That said, I wouldn't be too concerned if price went up to 7,800. But certainly right now I'm looking for patterns setting up for a short. That's what I'm looking at. Until price breaks 7,800, then I'd be a bit more concerned. Alright guys, so I think I'll wrap it up there. And yeah, we're going to have to see how it plays out from this point onwards. But yeah, I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a bit of information about my short-term targets, why I'm still, my primary count is to the downside, where I'm happy for price to go up to around 7,800. However, if any bearish patterns develop I'm going to be jumping on top of them to short, because it's a good trade. I'm looking to break that our recent lows. So yeah, exciting things to look out for. All right, take care, guys.